The Switch has turned 3 years old this year, so I thought I'd find out what the best games on it are by asking the people who actually play them. You guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get rolling. Hi guys, welcome to PMyth Gaming. With the Switch hitting its 3rd birthday this week, I thought I would put together a list of the 10 best games on the system, but I didn't just want it to be my own personal list. Nor did I just want it to be the top 10 games on Metacritic. So I set about asking you guys what you think they are. I asked 2 separate Nintendo community groups on Facebook, as well as our community on Twitter, and of course the rest of the Nintendo Village crew, to give me their top 10 games on Switch. I then took those rankings, scored them 10 points for first, down to 1 point for 10th, compiled them all together, and came up with this list. Now, some people did give me their lists in no particular order, so I just scored those in the order that they wrote them. My logic being that the game at the top of their list will be the one that came to mind first, and thus could reasonably be assumed to be their favourite. Hey, I didn't say it was a completely scientific experiment. And some people didn't give me 10, so I just ignored those. Learn to count, people! So without further ado, let's get into it. Kicking things off with the 10th spot is Pokemon Sword and Shield. The 8th gen of the mainline Pokemon game certainly had its controversies in the run-up to launch, but that didn't stop it from quickly becoming the fastest selling entry in the franchise to date. The new Pokemon that were introduced in the Galar region are some of the best the series has seen in a long time. And while it didn't shake up the tried and true formula quite as much as fans may have liked, the addition of the wild area and the game's UK setting certainly made it a fun adventure. Pokemon Sword and Shield are actually the first Pokemon games to grip me in a long while, and while they don't do quite as much as I would have liked from the series' first entry on a home console, they're still undoubtedly a fun time. And the DLC looks like it's going to expand on some of the best bits too. In at 9 is the delightful remake of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. And oh my god, is this a gorgeous game. It's more or less a direct screen-for-screen recreation of the classic Game Boy title, but with an adorably new lick of paint. Its old-school roots shine through in the best way, as although it's not the longest game in the world, if you're unfamiliar with the original or have just plain forgotten most of it like I have, you'll have a great time exploring Koholint Island and interacting with all the weird and wonderful characters that can be found there. Seriously, it's probably the most chill Zelda game going, and arguably the most charming game on this list. It's adorable! Now there was actually a tie for this next slot, so I've taken an executive decision and placed the following game at number 8. Astral Chain is arguably Platinum Games at their very best. It's an unbelievably cool action game, with some brilliantly engaging moments away from the action too. Sure, the asynchronous controlling of your own character and their semi-independent demon pet weapon makes for some unique and spectacular combat, but the world and narrative that those battles take place in are great too. I mean, this game unquestionably deserves a spot on this list. I never really got into Platinum Games stuff in the past. For whatever reason, Bayonetta and The Wonderful 101 just didn't grip me for some reason, but I picked Astral Chain up completely on impulse and I absolutely adore it. Probably not one for more casual players, but still highly recommended. The reason I placed Astral Chain at 8 is because this next game is one of my favourite on the system, period. Celeste is the only indie to make it into the top 10, but its place alongside the big boys is definitely warranted. The hardcore platformer is a masterclass in level design. The game is constantly introducing new mechanics, even in the endgame. It's got a great story with wonderful characters, and the one-man dev team even added 100 extra levels in a free update. This was actually my game of the year in 2018, and a lot of people sang its praises because of the way the game dealt with its themes of anxiety and depression. I didn't really care for that all that much, as I'm lucky enough not to have suffered with either of those things, but I will fight anyone who says that Celeste is not one of the greatest platformers of all time. Yeah, I said it. 6th place goes to Fire Emblem Three Houses. By all accounts, the fantasy strategy game is the best in the series yet, and it certainly has a rabid fanbase who have revelled in the game's world building and character relationships. There's a pretty expansive DLC pack too that opens up the game further, and if you're a strategy/RPG fan, there's definitely a lot to like. Alright, confession, I haven't actually played Fire Emblem Three Houses, but I've heard nothing but great things from people who have. I'm sorry, the series just has never really gripped me. I will take a new Advance Wars though, thank you very much. One game I definitely did play last year though was Luigi's Mansion 3. Mario's lankier brother once again finds himself in a haunted abode, this time a hotel, and has to set about rescuing Mario, Princess Peach and the Toads from the vengeful King Boo. The animations in this game are nothing short of spectacular, and next level games, coupled with the long-time voice of Luigi, Mario etc. Charles Martinet, who gives an incredible performance, managed to imbue Luigi with more character and personality than Nintendo have ever managed with their main mascot. I could sing the praises of Luigi's Mansion 3 all day. The puzzle design is fantastic, all the different themes for the different levels are so cool, the music's spectacular, it's perfect, go and play it. Finishing in 4th, and thus just missing out on the podium, is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's kind of hard to believe this is a port of a Wii U game, not least because it sold nearly 23 million copies. But it's nevertheless a must-buy for anyone with a Switch, and it's the system's best-selling title to date by a large margin. The added battle mode, expansion of the track lineup by including all the DLC from the original, and a few other gameplay tweaks here and there, make it one of the best Mario Kart experiences to date, and it's no wonder so many people are keen to take to the track when they get their hands on a Switch. But Double Dash is still the best Mario Kart. Taking the bronze medal is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Never has the moniker Ultimate been more appropriate than in the latest entry in Nintendo's mascot brawler. Featuring every single character that has ever showed up in a previous Smash game, along with shed loads of new additions, featuring fan favourites who some of us thought would never make it in, and with even more characters to come, the best-selling fighting game of all time is both a competitive beat-em-up, a hilarious party game, and a veritable digital video game museum. It still baffles my mind that there'll be nearly 90 fighters in that game by the time the second DLC pack wraps up. How Sakurai manages to balance them all, I'll never know. But I think this is one you should definitely own purely for its existence as a love letter to the entire industry. In the runners-up spot is Super Mario Odyssey. The portly plumber's return to sandbox 3D platforming is absolutely out of this world, and the new capture mechanic adds a fantastic element to Mario's arsenal. The wildly different aesthetics of each world make for some bizarre yet hilarious scenarios, and hunting moons is an absolute joy from start to finish. This was actually my number 1 pick, and I still think it's the best game on the console. Not according to you guys though, who, in a shock to no one, have elected Breath of the Wild as the best game on Switch. It may have been my number 2 pick, but I can't really argue with that. It is an absolute masterpiece. The go anywhere, do anything in any audio-like gameplay is truly revolutionary, and it's potentially still the most beautiful game on the system. People are still finding crazy new ways to utilise the game's superb physics engine 3 years in as well, and there's no question that if you own a Switch and don't have a copy of Breath of the Wild, you're just not doing it right. So there you have it, those are the top 10 games on Switch according to you lovely people. But reading through all those lists really brought it home just how spectacular the Switch's library is. Games like The Witcher 3, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Maker 2, Dragon Quest XI, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Dead Cells and Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle all narrowly missed out on a top 10 spot. I even discovered a few games that had completely passed me by doing this. Slay the Spire, for example, is now on my wishlist. Also, Animal Crossing ranked 21st despite the fact that the game isn't even out for another 2 weeks. I mean, I'm hyped for the game too, but Jesus. Needless to say, the Switch has shed loads of awesome games, so let me know what your top 10 are down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching though, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click that like button and maybe go and check out some other ones, like, I don't know, this one. And if you like that, you can always subscribe to so you never miss another episode. This show goes out every Friday, but there's tons more stuff here on Nintendo Village for you to enjoy, and be sure to check out thenintendovillage.com for news, reviews, featured podcasts, and all that cool stuff. Thanks again for watching, I'll see you all next week.